Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into another episode of hashtag Makeup Together, how to make a simple dinner. This video is actually not about dinner, it is about a dessert. So I'm having a super big sweet tooth and we have tons of strawberries in our refrigerator. And honestly, I've never really been a person to really like fruit like that. Like, I like fruit in things, but I don't really like eating the fruit, just fruit. So I thought about making a strawberry shortcake. So that's what we're going to be making. It's gluten-free, of course. I'm going to be making it with coconut flour. So I'm going to go ahead and start the oven. I'm cooking it on quick bake and it's going to be set at 350. So let's go ahead and get all the ingredients together. So I'm going to start out by putting in the wet ingredients. So we are going to be having 6 eggs. I like to use, I just get the Kroger brand natural eggs. Oh, buddy. Dropping shells. Yeah, so anyway, I usually get the Kroger brand eggs. They're the organic cage-free ones. These are not room temperature or anything. They're just regular old eggs. So we're just going to get those in there. One more. All right, so that is 6 altogether. Good, because I am running out of room in my hand for these shells. And I'm gonna rinse off my hands really quick. And dry. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be adding in is a ½ a cup of coconut oil. This was softened. It's not fully melted, but it is softened. So that's a ½ a cup of that. And then also I'm going to be needing a ½ a cup of clover honey. So I'm going to pour it into the ½ cup. Or if you're really good, you can eyeball it, which is usually what I do. But I'm going to follow the recipe this time. Man, this is a hand workout, squeezing all this. You can also use maple syrup if you would like for this. Or if you guys have any farms that have, or not farms, but they're like bee farmers, and there's actually a store right near my house here in Alpharetta that has a bee farmer and his wife opened it up, and that's usually where I get the honey. But I haven't been in a while, so. All right, so that's all for the wet ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. All right, so now that that's all mixed in there, I cannot believe I had the cord in there. It like snuck in. Okay, so the next I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients. So I have here, this is a ½ a cup of coconut flour. So we got that. I'm going to be adding, it's at a pinch of salt, so we'll add a little bit of that. Next thing is baking soda, and I'm going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Spread it around there. And this also called for vanilla extract, but I didn't like the one that we had here, so I'm going to try to find one with a little bit better ingredients. Like, it had a lot more stuff added than I think it should have been. So we're gonna cut that part out. So that is done. That is it for the base, or for the cake, except for the vanilla. So I'm gonna wait for the oven, and I'm gonna go ahead and just grease up the pan. I'm gonna be using some olive oil in that, and I'm just gonna get a paper towel and just kind of spread it around. Try to get it all up on the side so that way the cake doesn't get stuck in there. And if you have a spring form pan, you can also use that. I have one, but I'm not gonna use it for this. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do is just pour all that in. There's actually some of the flour on the side, so I'm gonna try to get all that in there as well. And this is gonna bake for 35 minutes. So we're just gonna pour it in. This is my first time using this recipe. So this actually kind of feels a little loose, but that's what the ingredients were. And the picture looked really good, so I trust them. So we'll see how this recipe works out. And I'm gonna put the recipe in the description below this video, so that way I can share it. I want to give credit to whomever created this recipe. So that is what we have for the cake. That is going to just sit over here and wait for the oven to preheat. I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready for the strawberries and the filling. So I have a lot of strawberries. Like, I have this container, these 2 containers, and then 2 more in the refrigerator. Like, there are a lot. So these have already been cleaned, but we didn't take everything off yet. So we're going to be doing strawberries 3 different ways because I'm using all these strawberries. So the first thing that we are going to do, these are going to be the strawberries that I'm going to layer in the cake. And so I just want to cut these super thin, and then I'm going to put these in the bowl. So this is going to be one way that we are going to do the strawberries. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these, one case like that. And I want them to be pretty thin. I actually don't like when strawberry shortcake has like really thick pieces of strawberries in it. I like it when they are thinner. So that's how I'm going to do these. And I'm going to do, this is about half of the container. I'm going to do about half of the container's worth of the strawberries cut like this. And so in the past when I made these, I of course sprinkled sugar on these. But I'm not going to do that now because I cannot have that extra sugar, especially not that white table sugar. That stuff is just terrible for you. So I'm going to be putting on some honey. I was going to put some maple syrup on them, but I think I'm just going to do these with honey. And I've never made them like this. But strawberries are already sweet, so they really don't need that extra sugar. And then I'm also going to just be putting some lemon juice on these strawberries. Maybe you could add lime juice as well if that's what you have. So I'm going to cut all these strawberries. The cake is already in the oven. And I'm hoping that the cake turns out good, because it did seem a little bit runnier than, you know, cake mixes that I have made in the past, even using gluten-free flour. So I'm hoping that works out pretty good. So I have some more strawberry. I have probably like 4 more strawberries in here, and I'm going to cut up like that, and then we'll look at the other strawberry type. So I wanted to show you guys before I got started on the other strawberries how I was doing this. So this is the strawberries all cut up thin, and I'm going to add just a little bit of honey on it, and also some lemon juice. Not too much, just a little. All right. And then I'm going to just stir this up. And that'll give them that little extra sweetness. Alright, so I'm going to put these now to the side over here. Oh, I threw it. Throw away my strawberry that fell on the floor. Alright, so the next way that I'm going to be doing these strawberries is I'm going to be putting them into the blender. And so what I want to do with these is I want to kind of make it like a little sauce almost. And then this is what I'm going to pour over the cake. So I'm don't need to cut that up too much. Just cutting off the tops and then chopping it up just a little bit more. Throwing those in there. So we're going to have big chunks of strawberries, and next we're going to have the pureed strawberries. So it's going to be like the strawberry juice that I'm going to pour over the cake, just so it can be more moist. So I'm going to put all these in there, and we are almost using up all of these. There are so many things that you can do with strawberries, but strawberry shortcake is just one of my favorites. And I can actually smell the cake already. It has 19 more minutes, and it smells pretty good, even though it doesn't have the vanilla in it. Alright, so these are all the strawberries in here. There's not anything else added, it's just going to be strawberries. So then I'm just going to blend these up. Yeah, that's perfect. Nice and runny. So I'm just going to set these off to the side. And then I'm going to get the bowl for the third type of strawberry. So really this third type of strawberry is just because there's so many of them and I am running out of things to do with them. So I thought about making kind of a medium between the whole chunk strawberry and the strawberry juice. I was like, let's make one that's a little bit chunkier. So that's literally what this is. And I'm going to be using an emulsion blender to do that. So I'm just going to put these in the bowl and get those going. I might not even use all of these, because I don't know if they're going to fit. And these ones I'm not going to put any honey or anything on either. I'm just going to leave them as is. right, almost done here. I mean, I might as well. There's only 2 more, even though I'm kind of running out of room. Alright, so then I'm just going to put these on top here. And this is the emulsion blender. It has a high and low setting, if you can see that. And I'm just going to just push it in there. And hopefully this will work the way I think it's going to. Alright, yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking that would look like. Alright, so I'm just going to get all these out. So it's like kind of, you know, just a mixture. They're like smaller chunks of them. So just getting the bigger chunks out of here is not that easy. Alright, cool. This last piece, come on. Alright, there we go. So that is the third way of doing the strawberries. Like a thick sauce. So the cake started smelling really, really yummy, and there was 10 more minutes left on the timer, but I went ahead and took it out. And I stuck a knife through the center. There was nothing coming out. The knife was coming out clean. So I just took it out. So all in all, this cooked on 350 for 25 minutes because it doesn't need that extra 10. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to let this thing completely cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just flip it out onto a plate, and I'm going to let it cool. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it cool in here. So we're going to let this sit. I'm going to let it cool off. I'm going to check it in about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll get putting everything together. So the cake is almost cooled off. So I was going to go ahead and take it out of the pan, and I was trying to find what I could put the strawberry shortcake in, and I don't have one of those fancy bowls that are on a stand, if that makes sense, to put it in. And we're going to put it in the refrigerator anyway, so I'm just going to put it in a container. It's not the fanciest thing ever, but it will work. So I was looking at this, and it's about half. So I was thinking that if I cut this cake in half and then cut the half in half long ways, then it'll all fit in there. So one thing I have always struggled with is taking out the cake. It always seems like whenever I take it out, I mess it up. So I just thought that I would record it because I'm sure somebody out there is like me and just cannot get a cake to come out of the pan properly. So maybe you guys can watch it and see what I'm doing wrong. So the first thing that I did, because I knew that I wanted it in half, is that I just took my spatula and I poked it in half. Pretty much half. So now I just want this to come out, and then I'm going to cut it in half again. So I know that I oiled it, but it always seems like I messed that up. So I'm going to just kind of stick my spatula behind the cake, I guess, and try to get it that way. So yeah, we might have to figure out another way to get it in. Maybe I can just like take out little chunks and put it in there versus trying to take out the whole pan, which is why I like doing stuff in the springform pan, so I probably should have just done that, but it's okay because I'm gonna figure out how to get these cakes out, because I can't go my whole life not knowing how to get the cake out of the pan without it. Like, it's like the sides are good. So if you guys have any tips, please let me know, because this is always like my biggest thing. Like, I'm like, it's gonna taste good, it's just not going to come out and look good. See, it's already like cracking. So I think what I'm gonna do is just take it out in chunks. Maybe that won't work. See, I feel like it does it on purpose. So since it's not completely cooled, I'm just gonna stick them right here. I just thought that this would help them to cool a little bit more. So the cake is pretty moist. It's actually really moist, which is good. It is a little crumbly, but that's all right. So I'm hoping that this will help the air to kind of get in it and help it to cool off a little bit more. And so the only reason why I didn't want to do it in all these little pieces is because I wanted to be able to cut it in half like pretty quickly. So I'm not quite sure how that'll work. And I'm going to use all these extra pieces in here too, like the pieces that didn't come off of the cake. So I'm going to put that in as well. Oh, here's a little chunk that I can actually like taste it. Yeah. And it doesn't taste like too honey flavor, which is what I was hoping. It did not have too strong of a honey flavor. All right, well, I was going to use some floss and just kind of stick it through the cake. But since we have all these little pieces, it should work if I cut it with a knife. So let's just see. So I'm thinking, hopefully, it will just cut through. This is always the problem that I have with cake. I love making cakes. I love trying to decorate them. They just don't work for me aesthetically. Like, it'll taste good. It's just not going to look good. All right. Well, the good news is that this is going the way I wanted it to. Yeah, and it's really springy. So I'm going to just cut all these, and then I'm going to let it completely cool, and then we'll start putting everything together. So now I'm going to put everything together now that I have the cake cooled off. So I'm just going to put some of the cake onto the bottom layer here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put all the stuff from the inside of the cake pan in there just to sprinkle it on. All right, so now we have that. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to be just putting on some of the strawberry sauce. I guess I'm gonna use a spatula. That would probably make more sense to spread it around, because that's gonna get nice and soaked in. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding a little bit of our pureed chunks, I guess is what we'll call it. This is like my favorite part because it's like doing a puzzle almost. All right, and then I'm going to layer on the chunks of strawberries. And these are thinly sliced. And then I'm going to be adding whipped cream. So I use True Whip. It has a lot better ingredients. It's not necessarily the truest stuff out there. Still has some added stuff but I haven't found a recipe yet. I am still looking, but I haven't quite found a recipe yet that I liked for whipped cream. But I'm working on it. All right, so I'm just going to dollop that on there and kind of spread that out too. Just to try to make a nice even layer. All right, and then I'm going to add this one. All right, so birthday idea. My birthday is in November. I would love one of those little pans that you can put strawberry shortcake in, and it has like the base, it has the stand, and then a bowl. So it's kind of like a bowl like this with a stand, and then you can see through it, and then you'll be able to fit like an actual cake in it, so that way it's not so rigged. All right, I mean, this is gonna work perfectly fine. Whether it's in one of those big bowls or in a cake thing like this, it's still gonna taste good. It'll just be a little more even. All right, so I'm going to layer that. It looks like I'm gonna have just enough. So we have 2 more layers to do. Some more of the True Whip. We might run out of True Whip. All right. Getting that spread around. It smells really good. All right, 1 more layer. This one kind of fell apart a little tiny bit. And we're gonna be eating this tonight with dinner, so if it's like a little overflowing a little bit, that's okay. All right, and that will be for the last layer. So let's put that on. Right, we're almost done. A little bit more of the True Whip, whipped cream. And I just got this at Kroger, by the way, if you were wondering. Just at Kroger in the healthy section. And the last layer. And it looks like it'll fit pretty good. I'm not gonna be able to put a lid on it, but that's okay. All right, well, Jeremiah is definitely ready. He's ready for what? For this strawberry shortcake that I'm making. All right, guys, so it looks like weren't able to get it all on the top, but that's all right. Oh, you can just set it over there. I'm almost done, and then you guys will have more kitchen space. All right, getting these last strawberries on top. I'm just gonna pour these on because this is the last layer. There we go. And then the last of the True Whip goes on top. Alright. And that will finish up all of this. I wish I had a little bit more for the top, but that's alright. Alright. So I'm going to just put this on the top like that. And this is nice and full. Just gonna use my finger to get off all the rest of this here. And that's it. So this is definitely filled to capacity. Let me wash off my hands really quick.
Mommy, it's yours.
What is it, buddy?
It's your bell.
Oh, thanks.
It's your bell.
Yeah, I thought we put that up with the Christmas stuff. There's always some extra. Look at this, buddy. What do you think?
Yay!
Does that look good?
Yummy.
All right, well, there's what it looks like. Seeing if you can see the side. So it still looks pretty good. All right, everyone. Well, that is it. The strawberry shortcake is done. I'm going to refrigerate it while I go ahead and get started on dinner. So be sure to catch my Instagram. I'm going to put the final picture of what this will look like and also give you my honest review of how it tastes. But it looks good, it smells good. I'm really excited to see what it's going to taste like all together. So thank you once again for watching. If you have any tips or tricks that you would like to share, please let me know. And also thank you for watching the video, liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Yes. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.